My beloved child, listen to me. This night is not like the others you've passed through. It is not ordinary, casual, or forgettable. Heaven has moved its attention to you in a way that angels have been stirred and assignments have been unlocked because of what I am about to release into your life. This moment you are standing in hath been appointed, not by accident, not by chance, but by divine orchestration written before the foundations of the earth. You did not stumble here. You did not arrive late. You are not excluded. You are precisely where my hand has led you, even if you did feel my grip during the storms. This night has a heavenly marking. There's a spiritual stamp upon it, and though the world around you sleeps or scrolls, unaware of what's shifting, you have been chosen to witness the unfolding of something sacred and supernatural. The pain, the delays, the questions, they were not in vain. They were stages in the divine setup. Every tear that soaked your pillow, every sigh you released in the quiet of your aloneness, every moment you thought I wasn't listening, child, they were the bricks I used to pave this path. And now, I stand beside you, hand extended, breath ready, glory uncontained, because what I will do through you tonight will change the course of what seemed stuck. Do not be distracted now. Do not pull away in fear or doubt. Don't say you are not ready. I made you ready while you waited, while you wondered, while you warred in silence. There is no going back. I have sealed this night with my voice, and you will move with my wind. This is not another night to forget. It is the one night hell feared would come and heaven has waited to celebrate. You're not standing on ordinary ground. You're standing at the edge of movement, the doorway of suddenness, the border of breakthrough. I don't need tomorrow to show you what I've been preparing. I've chosen tonight, this very breath, this very moment, to prove my presence is more than comfort, it's power. Let no sleep steal what I'm whispering. Let no fear cancel what I'm arranging. You're not just experiencing this night, you are a weapon in it. This night is my declaration through you. And now, as the divine winds begin to circle around what I have positioned in you, know this: heaven has not only noticed your presence, it has declared your name aloud in this exact hour. I did not whisper it quietly in the corners of eternity. I proclaimed it boldly across the halls of the unseen. Your name hath been echoed in the presence of angels, wrapped in the authority of my voice, stamped with the seal of divine purpose. The declarations have gone forth like arrows, piercing through resistance, dismantling every agenda that dared to delay you. This is not merely your time, it is the hour where your name carries heavenly authority because I have spoken it. What once ignored you will now have to listen. What overlooked you will now turn in your direction. What denied you access will tremble at your arrival. I have called you forth with intentionality, not as a bystander to miracles, but as a vessel through which my power will be witnessed. And let it be known your name is not associated with your past anymore. Heaven doesn't call you by your history. It calls you by your destiny. The shame they tied to you, the failures you hid from, the regrets that tried to follow you, they have no authority in this hour, because I have redefined you with one single utterance. My voice did not stumble when it declared you. It did not hesitate. It did not need approval. And that voice, my voice, is the same one that calmed the sea, raised the dead, created galaxies, and now hath been used to release your name into realms you haven't even stepped into yet. Don't underestimate what happens when heaven speaks. The declaration wasn't just poetic, it was legal. It was governmental. It carried weight, authority, and immediate execution. You might still feel unqualified, but heaven doesn't operate on feelings, it operates on obedience. And when I say your name, everything aligned to your purpose gets stirred. Your name is now active in this atmosphere. This is why you felt an unusual intensity. This is why resistance has increased. Because your name has been flagged in the spirit realm as a chosen carrier of what I'm about to pour. You're not waiting for a door to open, it has already been instructed to swing wide at your arrival. You're not chasing approval, it's already been issued. While others look for validation, I've already signed off on your mission. That's why the timing couldn't be delayed any longer. The earth may still be rotating in its usual rhythm, but something in the unseen has already shifted in your direction. The announcement hath been made, the table has been set, the seal has been broken, and heaven has stood to attention not because of your perfection, but because of your position in me. This hour carries your name on its scroll, and with every breath you take from this moment forward, let it remind you, you are walking in a moment that eternity recognized before time began. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You have been announced. You have been recognized. You have been selected. And nothing, no failure, no fear, no delay can mute what heaven has spoken over you this night. And because your name now resonates across dimensions unseen by human eyes, I am not only speaking over you, I am placing my hand within yours, releasing something that cannot be imitated, delayed, or duplicated. This is not the hour for watching from the sidelines. My power is not hovering around you waiting for permission. It is already being poured into the movements of your body, the intentions of your heart, and the actions of your spirit. When your fingers stretch forward, they are no longer just flesh, they are instruments of divine orchestration. My hand is not distant from you, it is infusing your reach, guiding your decisions, steadying your emotions, and commanding your surroundings to shift. You're not simply being empowered, you are being infused. You are not performing for me, you are partnering with me. Every gesture, every word, every choice is becoming a stage for heaven to manifest. What I am doing now is far more intimate than a distant blessing, it is a sacred merging. My supernatural will is being joined to your natural willingness. This union is where the miraculous is born. You must understand, your hands will no longer respond to circumstances, they will begin to create them. You will no longer live reacting to storms, you will begin speaking to them with authority. My hand within yours means what was once impossible will no longer resist you the same way. This divine release is not about your talent, status, or qualifications, it is about your surrender. You gave me your yes when no one else heard you. You remained in position when it made no sense to stay. And because of that obedience, I am now equipping your very limbs with the ability to move heaven into earth. This isn't symbolic, this is real. When you touch someone in prayer, it won't just be comfort, they feel it will be power. When you lift your hands in worship, it will open atmospheres you didn't even realize were locked. When you write, when you build, when you lift, when you release, my signature will be found in the very motion of your action. That's how closely I am connecting to you in this moment. The hand that once felt weak and unnoticed is about to carry my presence like an arc in motion. You may have thought your hands were only meant to survive, to hold on, to endure, but now they are being sanctified for purpose. No longer trembling in fear, but trembling with glory. No longer idle from weariness, but active with divine strategy. You are not waiting for something external to shift, you are being transformed so that you become the shift. You are becoming the movement. I didn't choose your voice only, I chose your body, your reach, your presence, your very touch to carry my intentions through this earth. You are my agent of impact. The world will not change from the outside, and it will be altered through people like you who allow me to take over completely from the inside out. And yes, some will misunderstand. Some will question your sudden boldness, your divine confidence, your ability to do what they never expected. But don't defend what I've placed within you. Just walk in it. Let the results speak. Let the testimonies follow. You don't need to prove you've been touched by me, your impact will reveal it. I've chosen to work through you, not around you, not instead of you, but through you, because your surrender has created a clear path for my glory to travel. This is why I kept you hidden. This is why I let others run ahead. Because when I move through someone, I don't rush, I refine. And now, refined one, yielded one, trusted one, watch what happens when I place my hand within yours. Watch what changes, what melts, what obeys, what heals, what awakens. You won't even recognize yourself soon, not because you've improved it, but because you've been overtaken by the one who holds all power. And now, as my hand begins to move within your own, there will be no separation between what you touch and what I bless. Every surface your fingers graze, every life you interact with, every burden you lift, Every assignment you step into, it will no longer be ordinary contact, but divine collision. You're not just carrying my presence, you're transmitting it. What once felt like small, unnoticed actions will now carry eternal weight, because I have authorized your touch to become a carrier of the atmosphere of heaven. You may have been overlooked in previous seasons, but now you are walking as a vessel whose nearness will shift chains, whose hug will heal wounds, whose words will plant seeds of awakening, whose prayers will unlock doors they thought were sealed forever. I did not choose you to blend, and I chose you to infect the atmosphere with the fragrance of my presence. And no longer will you enter a place unnoticed, because even when your entrance is quiet, the spirit within you will roar. The environments that used to drain you will now respond to your spiritual frequency, because I am not sending you empty, I am sending you full of me. That cashier you speak to, that neighbor you pass by, that friend you message at the right time, it is not random. Your very presence will be strategic. You won't always realize it in the moment, but later you'll see how that simple touch, that glance, that step held the weight of eternity. Don't minimize your everyday movements anymore. When I say everything you touch will be touched by heaven, I mean everything. The objects in your home, the documents you sign, the rooms you clean, the children you care for, the meals you prepare, heaven is mingling with the mundane. What the world sees as small, I use as sacred. It's how my glory flows, disguised in simplicity but bursting with power. Your faithfulness in hidden places has given me full permission to saturate your surroundings. The enemy will try to make you second-guess your impact. He'll try to convince you that you're not doing enough, that your moments don't matter, that your reach is too limited. But I tell you now, your obedience has multiplied your influence in ways you can't yet calculate. You don't need a stage, a title, or applause. All you need is alignment. And child, you are aligned. That is why things are accelerating. That is why you've been feeling a divine tension inside, a growing pull that something unusual is unfolding even though your eyes don't fully see it yet. That pull is heaven expanding inside you. You're walking like a flame wrapped in skin, igniting things you didn't even mean to. And that is exactly how I want it. Your touch will carry restoration. Your embrace will carry deliverance. Your whisper will carry clarity. Even your tears, yes, even they will become a language I use to reach the places words cannot go. You asked me to use you, and now I am. Not in the way others imagined, not with the methods they approve, but in the way that pleases me, quiet, powerful, consistent, unstoppable. From this point forward, nothing you touch remains untouched by me. Watch how even difficult conversations turn into divine encounters. Watch how places you dreaded entering suddenly begin to shift because my spirit precedes you. This is not your imagination, it's your impartation. You are a living extension of my heart, and your hands have been anointed for holy disruption. So don't second-guess the ripple effect. Don't expect immediate recognition. Just trust the impact. You are leaving trails of heaven wherever you go. And in time, the evidence will rise. People will begin to say, something happened when you were near, and you'll know it wasn't you. It was me, flowing through every move you made, every surface you touched, every heart you reached without even realizing it. What you need to understand now, as my presence fills everything you engage with, is that you will never walk another step by yourself. This journey from here onward is no longer yours to navigate alone. I have woven myself into the rhythm of your movement. Every step you take, I am inside it. You're not just following my lead, you're moving with me, embedded in your stride. I've embedded my strength where your legs used to buckle. I've injected my courage into the parts of you that once hesitated. I've positioned my guidance where confusion used to cloud your clarity. When your foot hits the ground, it echoes with the sound of divine partnership, because I have not merely called you, I have chosen to inhabit the very way you move forward. You won't need to second-guess whether I am near. You will know I am within. I'm not watching you from above, waiting to see if you will stumble. I'm not shouting directions from a distance, hoping you interpret them correctly. I am inside your momentum. I am wrapped in your forward motion. Every shift in your pace, every turn you take, every choice that causes you to rise or to wait, I'm there, intimately involved, synchronizing my wisdom with your willingness. The paths you were once afraid of will now unfold beneath you with clarity, not because the danger has disappeared, but because my nearness cancels the fear that once ruled you. Even when you walk into unfamiliar places, when the terrain feels strange, and you're unsure of what awaits on the other side of that door, remember this: you are not the only one stepping in. I go in with you. When you feel the weight of unknown expectations, I am there absorbing what was meant to crush you. When people look at you and expect you to carry more than you ever have, they will not see that I am quietly bearing the load behind the scenes. The world may not recognize my footprints beside yours, but they will witness what cannot be explained: how you keep enduring, how you keep rising, how you keep arriving in places you were never supposed to reach. That's not your own strength, it's because I'm walking the road with you, not ahead of you or behind you, but within every inch of your movement. Don't allow your past missteps to speak louder than my current guidance. You may have tripped before. You may have made wrong turns, but now things are different. I am now so deeply present in your pace that even your detours will become divine. Even the paths that once looked like failure will now be used as proof that my presence can redeem every direction. There is no longer such a thing as wasted motion for you. I use it all. Your walk has become a holy pattern of purpose. Every delay is purposeful. Every acceleration is strategic. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're not wandering. You're exactly where I need you to be, and I am right there in it with you. So when weariness tries to return and questions try to interrupt your forward march, do not collapse into doubt. Speak to your soul and remind it, I do not move alone. Speak it again when silence surrounds you. Speak it when applause disappears. Speak it when resistance rises. You are not alone in this stretch of road. You are not alone when your legs shake under pressure. I am the invisible rhythm in your journey. I am the hidden wind that keeps pushing you when you feel too tired to continue. I will not leave your side. I will not take my hand off your direction. I am not observing, I am participating. You are carrying me as I carry you. So walk forward, child. Walk boldly. Walk steadily. Walk like one who has heaven inside their steps, because that's exactly who you are now. And now that your footsteps have become the dwelling place of my presence, I want you to understand something deeper, something the world won't comprehend. Your weakness is not a hindrance to what I'm doing. It is the very place I've chosen to display my brilliance. You've spent so long trying to hide the fragile parts of yourself, covering the cracks, explaining away your scars, apologizing for what you think disqualifies you. But I never turned my face from those places. I was drawn to them. I didn't skip over your struggles, I waited patiently beside them, knowing that when you finally surrendered those trembling pieces, I could turn them into a canvas no human could take credit for. I never needed your perfection, child, I just needed your permission. The very areas you've begged me to remove are the same places I'm using to reveal my nature. The insecurity you've battled with, I'm transforming it into a well of compassion. That fear that used to choke your voice, I'm converting it into a megaphone of hope. That memory you buried, hoping it would fade, I'm resurrecting it as a testimony. I never intended to discard your flaws, I planned to fill them with myself. The world values strength that appears polished and loud, but I move through surrendered fragility. I pour light into what the world calls broken. I heal through hands that once trembled. I resurrect through vessels that were shattered. And when they ask how it happened, they'll see me, not you. Because only I could take weakness and make it glorious. This is why I allowed the wrestling. This is why I didn't immediately remove what you thought was your burden. You didn't realize it was preparing you to carry something eternal. If I had answered you the way you asked, you would have walked forward confident in your own ability. But now, you rise knowing that everything you accomplish from here is because of who is inside you, not what you can manufacture. You are not standing today because of skill, you are standing because of surrender. The tears you cried in private have become paint in my hands. The questions you screamed in the dark have become brushstrokes on the masterpiece I'm revealing. So don't run from your weakness. Don't try to erase it. Bring it to me fully. Lay it bare. Let me take what embarrasses you and turn it into evidence of my hand. I do not waste pain. I do not overlook brokenness. I inhabit it. That's why I came as a wounded savior, not a crowned king. I walk among the cried, not just the confident. And I have chosen your fragile pieces, not to discard them but to shine through them. Your weakness is not an obstacle to my work, it's the opening. I will prove this to you soon. You'll watch yourself step into moments you once avoided, and you will realize it's not because you became stronger, it's because I filled the gap. You'll say words you never rehearsed. You will face challenges that used to intimidate you. You'll stand in rooms you once felt unworthy of. And every time it happens, you'll know it was me. Not your talent, not your charm, not your strategy, just me. That's how I get the glory, and that's how you get the peace. So walk into your calling boldly, even if you feel unqualified. Lift your head, even if your knees still shake. Speak when I lead you, even if your voice quivers. You are not the same as you were before. You are now the canvas, and I am the artist. And child, I don't make mistakes. Every line, every shade, every layer of your life is part of the masterpiece I am painting for all to see. They will not marvel at your perfection, they will fall on their knees because of how beautifully I displayed my glory through what once looked like weakness. And that will be the miracle. That will be the message. That will be the proof that I have been with you all along. Now that you've surrendered the areas you once believed disqualified you, and I've begun turning those unseen parts into radiant reflections of my presence, it's time for something that has been long delayed but never denied. I am now lifting the veil, yes, the one that has kept you questioning, the one that cloaked your understanding, the one that blurred your vision when you begged me to see clearly. For too long, you've been walking with passion but without clarity, trusting me in shadows, navigating through places where nothing made sense. But that clouded season is ending. I am pulling back what has been concealing the truth of your calling, the strategy behind your waiting, and the beauty buried under what looked like silence. The time of hiddenness is over, not because I'm changing my mind, but because you're ready to carry the weight of what I'm about to reveal. You thought I was withholding from you. You thought the silence meant rejection. But in truth, I was protecting what you weren't prepared to manage. Had I revealed it too soon, it would have overwhelmed you or been stolen by voices not assigned to your purpose. There are things I placed inside you that were meant to stay concealed for a time, not because you lacked worth, but because their impact required deep development. Now, the timing has aligned, the season has shifted, and your spirit has matured. What I am exposing now will not break you, it will build you. What once confused you will begin to make sense in ways that bring tears to your eyes, not from pain, but from the awe of how I orchestrated even the delays for your good. The veil being lifted is not just about insight, it's about access. Places you didn't know you were meant to stand in are about to open before you. Realms you only glimpsed in prayer are going to become realities. Hidden connections are coming to light. Conversations that once felt random will be revealed as divine setups. Relationships you didn't understand will suddenly show their purpose. The dots you could never connect will now link together like a divine map. You will look back and realize that nothing was wasted, not even the confusion. I was behind the curtain, shaping you with precision. And now, that curtain is being drawn back. This unveiling will not just affect you, it will affect those around you. People will begin to see something different in your eyes, not because you're changing the way you speak, but because you now walk with understanding. Your presence will carry weight because your vision will no longer be clouded. You will speak with wisdom you didn't even study for. You will discern without needing confirmation. You will know when to move, when to speak, and when to stay silent, because I will reveal my timing to you clearly. The haze is lifting, and with it, the heaviness that confusion brought. Where once you hesitated, now you will act. Where once you feared, now you will trust. Where once you guessed, now you will know. But with revelation comes responsibility. I'm not showing you these things to entertain your curiosity. I'm unveiling them so you can move with intention. You must protect what I reveal. Not every insight is for public discussion. Some things I show you are meant to be carried in prayer, not spoken aloud. Some of what I lift the veil on will require you to act with maturity, to carry it with reverence, not excitement. You must understand the weight of what I'm handing you. It is not light, but you are ready. So pay attention to the shifts, the insights, the sudden awareness that something has changed in your spirit. That's not imagination, it's my spirit whispering, look again. Things that were once blurry are becoming sharp. Dreams that felt symbolic are now becoming instructions. I'm not hiding anymore, I'm highlighting. I'm not concealing anymore, I'm clarifying. You are not in the dark, you are stepping into light. And with every layer I pull back, you'll discover not only more about your purpose, but more about my heart. Because everything I show you is not just about your mission, it's about my love for you. That's what I've been waiting to reveal all along. And now that the veil has been lifted and clarity begins to settle in places once ruled by mystery, you must understand something very important. The darkness that once surrounded you, intimidated you, where silenced you has absolutely no defense against what I've placed within you. This darkness, be it fear, oppression, confusion, heaviness, torment, delay, or spiritual resistance, cannot endure the force of my light that now radiates from the depths of your being. It doesn't matter how long it lingered. It doesn't matter how thick it felt. It doesn't matter who it came through or how it manifested. None of it has authority to remain when my light, through you, begins to burn. You are not reflecting a borrowed glow, you are carrying my nature, and darkness is allergic to me. It must retreat. It must fold in defeat. It must lose its grip and dissolve at the command of my presence. You've underestimated the power of what I've been building inside you. You thought you needed to fight this battle by shouting louder, or praying harder, or trying to control the atmosphere with your emotions. But I'm teaching you something higher now. This fight isn't won by striving, it's won by shining. Simply standing in the middle of what used to consume you, with me alive in you, shifts the balance entirely. You don't have to announce your arrival. Light never needs to introduce itself. Its presence is its proclamation. Even now, the spiritual pressure you felt is evidence that the darkness has sensed what's coming. It knows it can't maintain its ground. It has heard your name, felt your presence, and detected a fire it cannot comprehend. That unease you've experienced, those restless nights, the sudden spiritual warfare, these are not signs of defeat. They are reactions to the invasion of light that's begun to break open in you. And child, that light is not seasonal or situational, it is eternal. It doesn't flicker when circumstances change. It doesn't dim when people walk away. It doesn't fade when storms arise. This light is me, and I don't waver. The enemy's greatest hope was to keep you from realizing this. If he could convince you that your authority depended on how perfect you felt or how loud you prayed or how many people supported you, he could keep you bound in cycles of self-doubt. But now that you know the truth that I dwell within you as unshakable light, his strategies fall apart. You won't need to beg me to show up anymore. You'll walk knowing I'm already present. You won't need to fear hidden attacks, they are exposed the moment you step into the room. And when others are overwhelmed by spiritual fog, you'll bring clarity simply by standing firm in who you are. This is why I allowed the pressure to build. This is why I let the darkness grow around you for a season. Not because I abandoned you, but because I was training your awareness. I wanted you to see that even when all you had left was a flicker, that flicker was enough to confuse and disrupt hell's plans. And now, it is no longer a flicker, it is a blazing force. And it is not for your benefit alone. It is meant to be carried into places no one else dares to enter. You will be my lamp in rooms they gave up on. You will be my signal fire in valleys of despair. You will be my spark in the ashes of ruined dreams. And you will not burn out, because I do not burn out. So the next time fear tries to rise, the next time resistance tries to stall you, the next time shadows try to settle again, remember who lives inside you. Remember who lit the fire. Remember who said, "Let there be light," and saw darkness flee. That same voice lives in you now. That same power walks with you. That same radiance flows through your life with unstoppable purpose. You are not at the mercy of what surrounds you. You are the one causing darkness to tremble. You are the carrier of uncontainable light. And nothing, not fear, not opposition, not even the deepest night can resist what I have ignited in you. Now that the atmosphere is trembling at the force of my light within you, and the shadows are scattering in silent panic, I need you to be still and pay close attention, because what you've been pleading with me to show you is about to manifest. Not in the sky, not in dreams, not in faraway messages, but through your own hands. You've whispered in frustration, "Lord, just give me a sign. Show me that I'm on the right path. Confirm that this isn't in vain." And tonight, I answer not with thunder, not with flashes, but with movement that flows through the very fingers you once felt were unworthy. I am responding not with symbols, but with power. Your hands will no longer just carry weight, they will carry evidence. And it will not be symbolic, it will be undeniable. The signs you've been looking for are not coming in the form you expected, because I am doing something deeply personal. I'm turning your touch into testimony. I'm choosing the overlooked parts of you to reveal the undeniable. You won't have to explain it. You won't need to convince anyone. As you begin to move in obedience tonight, even in simple, unglamorous ways, you'll begin to notice. Things shift when you touch them. Peace enters places where confusion ruled. Clarity rises where there was chaos. Healing starts where pain lived too long. What used to feel ordinary will now carry unusual weight. Not because you changed, but because I placed something sacred in your grasp. The stirring you feel in your palms, the energy you sense when you lift your arms, the warmth or pressure you can't explain, that is me responding to your cry. You asked for confirmation, but I'm giving you collaboration. I'm not just answering you, I'm working with you. This is not distant permission. This is present partnership. What I do tonight will not just be for your encouragement, it will be the beginning of a pattern. This is not a one-time wonder. I'm training your awareness to notice how I work through you, not just around you. No more wondering if I'm listening. No more doubting your direction. No more asking for signs like a stranger. I'm placing proof in your hands because you are my vessel, not my spectator. Don't dismiss what happens tonight. Don't second-guess it or brush it off as coincidence. When you touch someone and they suddenly feel peace, when you pick up something and feel a surge of clarity, when you lay your hand on your chest and feel a storm calm, know that it is me. I'm not sending lightning from heaven, I'm releasing confirmation through your own body. This is how close I've come. This is how involved I've chosen to be. I'm not waiting for you to qualify, I'm responding to your hunger. You asked with sincerity, and I'm answering with intimacy. But I'm also revealing something deeper. What you touched tonight, I've already touched. What responds to your movement was already instructed to do so. This is not about power, it's about alignment. You are stepping into something that was ordained before you even knew what to ask for. I've been preparing this moment long before your questions were formed. So don't hesitate. Don't look around for signs elsewhere. Watch your hands. Watch what I do through them. Watch how they become a witness of what I've spoken in private. And be warned, this will attract attention. The enemy will notice. The doubters will wonder. The atmosphere will shift. But you must stay focused. Don't be distracted by who doesn't understand. You didn't ask them for a sign, you asked me. And I'm answering you with a movement that only you can carry. It is holy. It is personal. It is real. Tonight will mark the beginning of a new sensitivity in you, a new depth of discernment, a new awareness of the holy happening right in your midst. You won't have to search anymore. The evidence is with you. The answer is in you. The sign is on your hands. Watch closely, my child, tonight. They will speak louder than words. Now that you've seen my signs begin to flow through your own hands, and you've realized that your very touch carries my response, let me tell you something even deeper. This is not a temporary encounter. I'm not appearing just to comfort you for a moment, or to encourage you for a night, and then leave again. I have made a permanent decision to dwell within you, not to visit, not to pass through, not to linger for special occasions. I have built my residence in the depths of who you are, and I will not withdraw. I am not like the ones who came and left. I am not like the voices that gave you hope only to abandon you when things got heavy. My indwelling is not an emotional wave, it is an eternal fact. And because I live within you, now, every moment, every movement, every breath is filled with divine potential, whether you feel it or not. You don't have to strive to bring me close anymore. I am already inside, closer than your thoughts, deeper than your pain, more present than the beating of your heart. You don't need to beg me to stay, because I've already signed the covenant with my own blood. I do not dwell where I am tolerated, I dwell where I am welcomed, and you have made room for me through surrender, through tears, through obedience in the silence. That is why I have come to stay. You've built a place for me, not in a building made of stone, but in a spirit that said yes even when it was breaking. That kind of welcome is rare, and I will honor it with the fullness of my presence. I am not standing outside knocking anymore. I am already inside, rearranging things, healing what was hidden, and illuminating what was dark. And because I dwell in you, you don't need to look outward to find me. I'm not waiting for you in some distant holy place. I'm not trapped in religious routines or confined to special days. I'm in you during the mundane moments, in the small details, in the tired breaths, in the quiet glances, in the unspoken burdens. I'm there when you sit in silence, unsure of what to pray. I'm there when your voice cracks under the weight of emotions you can't name. I'm there when the world feels loud and you just want peace. You'll find me not by chasing but by pausing, not by performing but by receiving, not by striving but by simply breathing and remembering I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere. This is what changes everything. Because I dwell in you, your past cannot define you. Because I dwell in you, shame has no permanent residence. Because I dwell in you, fear loses its voice. Because I dwell in you, the enemy sees me when he looks at you. I have made your life my sanctuary, and nothing unholy can remain where I reside. You've been praying for transformation, and this is how it comes, not by external signs, but by internal dwelling. I'm not interested in momentary encounters. I'm after eternal habitation. You are not a visitor in my kingdom. I've made you the home of my presence. And this dwelling is not passive, it's powerful. My spirit within you will begin to stir things that have been dormant for years. Old dreams you thought were dead will begin to flutter with life. Hidden gifts will rise to the surface. Forgotten promises will burn again. Not because you forced them, but because my presence will activate what has been sleeping. You will begin to notice a difference in how you think, how you respond, how you carry yourself. That's not you becoming better, that's me becoming visible. The world around you will sense it. They won't always know what it is, but they will be drawn to it, drawn to me inside you. So stop asking me to come when I'm already here. Start acknowledging that I have made my home in you. And with that realization, walk with confidence, not arrogance, but assurance. I have not merely anointed you, I have indwelt you. This is not visitation. This is habitation. This is not emotional height. This is divine residence. This is not temporary fire. This is constant presence. You are not chasing me anymore, you are carrying me. You are not waiting for me to show up, I already have. And I'm not leaving. Not tonight. Not ever. Since you now understand that I have taken up permanent residence within you and I am not a passing presence but a constant source of divine power, I must prepare your heart for what's next, for what I am about to entrust to you carries a depth beyond what you've ever held before. Do not let fear creep in as I begin to increase your capacity. Don't tremble at the magnitude of what I'm assigning to your life. The weight you're about to feel is not meant to crush, it's meant to carry my glory. You see, what I give always comes with a certain heaviness, not to punish but to establish, not to exhaust but to deepen your roots. You've asked me to use you, and now I am but understand this. With greater release comes greater responsibility. Yet I say to you, do not panic, because I have already fortified you to hold what's coming. The reason I've allowed seasons that felt crushing is because I was strengthening your frame. While others were racing ahead, I was stretching your foundation. While you watched others be elevated, I was reinforcing your inner structure. Not everyone will see the preparation that happened in secret, but they will witness the strength I've built within you when they see what I rest upon your life. Don't look at yourself through the lens of your past limitations. I don't place my glory on unstable ground. I wouldn't hand you what you're about to receive unless I had already done the hidden work to make you capable. I'm not careless with my assignments. When I choose someone to carry something sacred, I ensure they are deeply rooted first. And child, your roots run deep. So when you begin to feel the spiritual intensity, the new levels of insight, the heaviness in your atmosphere, don't interpret it as something wrong. That pressure is not punishment. It's the evidence that I'm laying something on your life that requires stability. The clarity that's coming will carry weight. The doors that will open will carry responsibility. The miracles I release through you will require maturity to steward. I am not giving you a platform, I am giving you purpose. And with purpose comes weight. But remember this, you are not bearing it alone. I am still within you, holding up what I place upon you. You are not lifting it in your strength, it's my spirit that sustains it. I never assign what I do not support. Do not shrink back. Do not hesitate. Do not compare yourself to those who look more prepared on the outside. I'm not concerned with outer appearance, I'm concerned with inward readiness. And your heart has been made ready through the crushing, through the fire, through the process you almost gave up in. That's why I'm trusting you now. Not because you shouted the loudest, but because you obeyed when no one saw. Not because you were perfect, but because you were willing. Not because you knew all the answers, but because you leaned on me when everything fell apart. That is what I build on. That is what I trust. This next phase won't feel light, but it will feel right. There will be moments where the responsibility of what I place on you will require silence, discipline, and sacred boundaries. There will be moments where others won't understand your withdrawal, but you will know I'm handling something weighty, and I can't treat it casually. And that's when I'll meet you again and again in the stillness, reminding you that this was never about your ability to carry me, it was always about my ability to carry you. You're not carrying a burden, you're carrying glory. You're not overwhelmed, you're overshadowed. You're not being buried, you're being trusted. So brace yourself, but do not fear. What I am placing on you is holy. What I am placing on you is proof that I trust you, and I will not let you collapse under it. I will support you, strengthen you, and walk with you through every moment of it. The weight you feel will not break you, it will shape you. You were made for this, and the world will soon see what I saw long before you believed it. Now that I've told you not to be afraid of what I am about to place, you must recognize the true nature of the heaviness that has begun to press upon your chest, the silent pressure wrapping itself around your hours, the invisible weight that seems to settle without warning. That burden you feel right now, it isn't a curse, nor is it punishment, and it is certainly not a sign that something is wrong. It is my power stirring. It is my strength being formed in a way your body can feel before your spirit even fully understands it. This weight is not to wear you down, it's to charge you, to prepare you for the surge that's coming, because my glory doesn't arrive quietly. It presses, it groans, it stretches the container that must carry it, and that container is you. You've been asking me for greater influence, for deeper anointing, for unusual authority in this hour, and I've listened. But with those requests comes something few talk about, the internal burden that precedes the external breakthrough. My presence is not always gentle when it increases. Sometimes it comes with pressure, because what you're about to walk in requires more of me operating through less of you. And that process creates tension. It's what you're feeling now, the breaking of old limits, the dismantling of shallow patterns, the collapse of former mindsets, all making room for a flow you've never known before. Don't run from it. Don't mislabel it. This is not burnout. This is not depression. This is not confusion. This is power getting ready to rest on you in a way that rewrites what you thought was possible. The burden shows up before the blessing so that you don't mishandle the blessing when it comes. It's me teaching you to carry what can't be explained. It's me aligning your interior life so your public walk won't collapse under spiritual weight. You must be able to stand when no one applauds, to continue when no one notices, to pray when nothing makes sense, because this next release is not for those seeking applause, it's for those willing to endure the heaviness of real transformation. This is not about public image, it's about private obedience. I am allowing you to feel this because I trust you won't run from the responsibility. I trust that even though you are trembling, you'll stay in position. I trust that when the weight becomes too much to articulate, you'll still turn to me rather than withdrawing into silence. You keep asking me for more and I am answering, but more doesn't arrive through noise. It arrives through weight. It rests, it presses, it deepens. You've outgrown surface-level strength. You've graduated from momentary inspiration. You're being inducted into something that will stretch generations through your yes. And so yes, it feels like a burden because that's the first sign that what's coming is sacred. Even my son, when preparing to carry the cross, felt the crushing weight in Gethsemane before resurrection ever appeared. Why would it be different with you? You are sharing in the process of true power. And that means learning to sit under what you cannot explain, to hold what others cannot see, and to carry what only I can sustain through you. So instead of praying for the burden to lift, ask me to help you understand it. Instead of asking why it feels heavy, ask what I am forming in the tension. Don't avoid it, lean into it. I'm shaping your posture. I'm expanding your spirit. I'm showing you that true strength isn't loud, it's yielded. I'm proving to you that when you are overwhelmed, I am enough. That this burden is a sign that you are no longer living on spiritual crumbs. You are now the vessel of something that must overflow. And soon, very soon, you will see what this heaviness was all about. The power will not remain unseen. What I have been pressing into you will pour out in moments that surprise you. People will ask, where did that come from? And they won't know that the weight you carried in silence was preparing you for a release that will shift rooms, heal wounds, and break generational barriers. So don't curse the burden. It is holy. It is necessary. It is me. And I am getting ready to show you what happens when my power fully awakens within someone who doesn't quit when it gets heavy. Now that you've begun to feel the weight of my power pressing from within, and you've chosen not to flee from the intensity, but to remain in alignment with what I am forming, it is time for you to be made aware of something I have already set in motion before your burden even began. You are not walking into this alone, not spiritually, not physically, not eternally. Even now, while your eyes scan for support and your heart wonders who understands the depth of what you're carrying, I want you to know with certainty that my angels are not on the way, they are already stationed around you. Assigned, dispatched, positioned. You are surrounded in ways far greater than you know. There are moments when the tension you feel isn't just the weight of what I'm placing on your life, it's the collision between heaven's protection and hell's resistance. The warfare has intensified not because you're unguarded, but because you are deeply guarded. Hell cannot penetrate the boundaries I've established, so it tries to distract you with noise. But even in the noise, I have secured you. I have deployed angelic help not for show, not for your entertainment, but for your fulfillment. They have orders that came directly from my throne concerning you, and they are obeying without hesitation. Whether you are asleep or awake, confident or overwhelmed, noticed or forgotten, my heavenly forces remain unshaken in their assignment. You have walked into rooms feeling like no one saw you, but angels did. You have sat in silence feeling misunderstood, but angels stood around you, listening to the pain that never made it to your lips. You've cried out in exhaustion, thinking your prayers fell flat, but the atmosphere above you was already stirred before the words formed. They don't wait for your understanding, they respond to my voice. And I've already spoken on your behalf. You are not waiting for help, it's present. You are not abandoned, you're accompanied. You are not under attack without defense, you are surrounded by strength you cannot measure. And understand this, they are not there simply to observe your pain. They are guarding purposes, shielding timing, warring over details that your eyes will never see, but your spirit will benefit from. That car that didn't hit you, that connection that didn't fail, that night you almost broke down but didn't, those were not accidents. Those were divine interventions from the unseen sentries around you. They moved quietly, but their impact was eternal. And they are still moving. They are clearing paths, confronting delays, softening hearts, and preparing the stage for what I'm releasing through you. You are stepping into a season where you must be aware that spiritual activity around you is increasing. Not to make you afraid, but to make you alert. Begin to walk with a new confidence, not prideful, but deeply aware. You are not one against the world. You are walking with divine company. And when you pray, it's not hitting ceilings, it's activating realms. When you worship, it's not routine, it's a signal. When you declare my word, it does not echo, it releases movement in the heavens. You're not just praying to survive, you're commanding breakthrough. And my angels are moving in alignment with every word I approve. But remember, their help is not earned by your performance, it's secured by my promise. You don't need to be perfect to be protected. You don't need to always feel strong to receive supernatural reinforcement. My love secured your covering, and my purpose guarantees your assistance. So stop imagining yourself as unguarded. That lie has held you back long enough. Begin to move like someone who is protected. Speak like someone who is backed by heaven. Worship like someone who knows the air is charged with activity, even when the room feels quiet. You are not alone, child. You never were. And when you feel pressure again, pause, not in fear, but in awareness. Because often, that pressure is not an attack, it's angelic presence drawing near to fulfill the next stage of what I've spoken. Heaven isn't distant, it's active. And tonight, I need you to know beyond every doubt, you are not waiting for help to arrive. It is already here. The presence of angels is not a future promise, it's a present reality. You are surrounded. You are covered. You are not outnumbered. You are walking with company you cannot see, but you will begin to sense it stronger than ever before. Watch closely. You're not just protected, you're escorted. Now that you've come to recognize that angelic forces have already surrounded you and are not waiting for you to be perfect before acting on my instructions, I must take you even deeper into what has already been written. Your steps are not casual. Your patterns are not random. There is nothing accidental about where you've been placed, how you've been positioned, or why your timing has felt so unusual. It is because heaven's assignment hath been inscribed upon your very movements. You are not merely living life, you are carrying out strategy. And even when it feels like you're wandering, I want you to know you're walking inside a design that was etched by my hand long before anyone knew your name. This is why doors you thought you wanted didn't open. This is why some places didn't feel right no matter how perfect they looked on the outside. It's because your steps must align with what I've written, not with what others recommend. I've mapped out a flow for you, not a formula. I've encoded purpose into your pace. You don't move like everyone else because your path is not like theirs. I've scripted divine appointments into your detours. I've infused holy interruptions into what looked like delays. Nothing is wasted when I am ordering the journey. Every shift in direction has meaning. Every moment of stillness has a reason. Every hesitation that you thought was weakness was actually a checkpoint in your divine assignment. You are not behind, you're walking inside a timeline designed by heaven itself. And yes, others may not understand it. They may question your pace. They may wonder why you don't move faster or push harder. But they do not see what I see written over you. They are reading from pages I never gave them access to. Only I know the full scroll of your destiny. That's why you must stay sensitive to my voice over the noise of comparison. The steps I've assigned to you are tailored to the weight you're meant to carry, the atmosphere you're called to shift, the people you're meant to impact. If you try to rush ahead or mimic another path, you will miss divine intersections prepared specifically for you. So walk with intention, even if the path feels unclear. Trust the rhythm I'm setting, even if the scenery doesn't match your expectations. The movements of your life are declarations in the spirit realm. Every place your feet touch is marked. Every room you enter, something shifts even when no one acknowledges it. You are not just traveling, you are releasing something I placed within you. That presence you feel rising when you enter unfamiliar ground. That's not nervousness, that's recognition. Heaven knows where you're standing. Hell knows who you are. Creation is responding to what I've placed over your steps. You've been asking me for instructions, but what you haven't realized is that your obedience has already been setting miracles into motion. You didn't need to understand everything, you just needed to keep moving. And you did. When you kept going without clarity, you were fulfilling prophecy. When you stayed faithful without applause, you were aligning with destiny. When you said yes in private, heaven wrote approved in bold. And now, your feet are walking into moments that were prepared generations before you even breathed your first breath. Don't despise the quiet seasons, they are still strategic. Don't look down on small beginnings, they are still sacred. I've hidden treasure in the terrain you're walking. I've embedded glory into your direction. The enemy wants you to think you're drifting, but I declare you are advancing step by step, even when it doesn't feel like it. Your movements are prophetic. They are not just taking you somewhere, they are establishing territory. You are claiming ground not only for yourself, but for those attached to your assignment. So go forward now with new awareness. You are not lost. You are not wandering. You are being led. And your path is not blankets marked by my fingerprint. Even the steps you took that felt like failure have been folded into the plan. I have not removed my hand from your journey, not for a single moment. And soon, you'll begin to see the connections come together. The timing will align. A purpose will become visible. But for now, keep moving, because every step you take echoes with destiny. Every step fulfills the writing heaven has placed over your life. Because you now understand that every step you've taken has been carved with precision by my hand, and heaven's script is woven into your very motion. It's time I uncover the part the enemy has tried hardest to hide from you. The progress he fought so hard to interrupt is not dead, it's only been paused. And I declare to you now, by my authority and not your effort, what the enemy tried to stop will begin again now. Not tomorrow. Not next season. Not when you feel ready. Now. The very thing he thought he buried under disappointment, confusion, fear, and endless delays is about to rise with fresh wind behind it. What seemed broken beyond repair, what looked like a sealed chapter, what felt like a forgotten assignment, I am breathing on it this moment. The warfare you faced wasn't random. The resistance wasn't coincidental. The sudden loss of momentum, the shattered opportunities, the premature exits, they were all targeted attempts to disconnect you from your place of effectiveness. Because he knew if you ever realized what you carry, if you ever stood up after the fall, if you ever returned to what you were building with the knowledge you now carry, you would be unstoppable. So he tried to wear you out. He tried to paralyze your belief. He tried to convince you that too much time had passed and you were too far behind to ever begin again. But child, time obeys me. Restoration isn't bound by the clock. I am the God who redeems years in a moment. The interruptions weren't the end, they were only a delay. And delays, when surrendered to me, become altars where I multiply what you thought you lost. You cried when it all stopped. You grieved when the vision felt too heavy to pick up again. But I held that vision for you in the silence. I covered it when you didn't have the strength to pray. I protected what you buried. And now I'm calling you back to it, not to restart in weakness, but to relaunch in power. It's not starting over. It's continuing with greater force. Listen closely. That stirring you feel inside, that sudden urgency, that restless push to revisit what you once laid down. It's not your imagination. It's me. I'm awakening the call that never died. I'm reigniting what religion said was finished. I'm renewing the flame that life tried to smother. And this time, it won't be like it was before. This time, you're not building in your own strength. This time, you're not depending on unstable support. This time, you're walking in wisdom forged by the fire. This time, I'm going before you in ways you didn't see last time. And this time, no weapon formed against you will succeed. Let this sink into the places that have settled into discouragement. It's not too late. You didn't miss it. The enemy didn't win. The process wasn't pointless. What stopped before was only setting the stage for a greater unveiling. You had to be refined. You had to be emptied so I could fill you differently. You had to lose what was shaky so I could establish what's solid. And now, you'll move without apology. Now, you'll rebuild without hesitation. Now, you'll step into spaces you once shrunk away from. Because what I'm reviving in you will no longer be dependent on external affirmation, it will burn with internal fire. I've already sent the help you need. I've already aligned the resources. I've already released the instructions in your spirit. You'll begin to feel them with clarity that surprises you. And when you do, don't overthink it. Don't let fear delay you again. Just move. Just return. Just open your mouth. Just start. You're not who you were when it ended last time. You're stronger. You're deeper. You're anointed. You're ready. The enemy wouldn't have fought this hard if what you carried wasn't explosive. But the attack didn't cancel the promise, it only confirmed it. So rise now. Return to the blueprint. Reopen what you thought was closed. Reclaim the ground you walked away from. What the enemy tried to stop will begin again now. And not just begin but flourish. You won't have to force it. You'll flow. You won't strive, you'll step. Because now, you're not building for approval, you're building from my command. And where I've spoken, nothing can stand in the way. Watu. You're not just starting again. You're stepping into fulfillment. Now that what was violently interrupted is beginning again, not by your might but by my breath, I must tell you something sacred. Something your heart needs to grasp deeply before you take your next step. I have not forgotten what you buried in prayer. I heard every quiet whisper in the middle of nights no one knew you were awake. I remember the silent words you spoke while tears soaked your face and your voice gave out from crying. I recall the promises you reminded me of when no one else believed in them. Every petition, every plea, every holy ache you laid before me, I have preserved them all. None were dismissed. Not one was overlooked. I didn't discard them in the delay, I archived them for this hour. You may have thought time erased them. You may have assumed that because I was silent, I was uninterested. But child, my silence was not forgetfulness, it was preparation. I don't respond to desperation with quick fixes. I respond with eternal answers. I take what you give me in anguish, and I work it into a solution that is bigger than what you imagine. While you were wondering if I even heard you, I was already forming the fulfillment. I don't operate in forgetfulness, I dwell in fullness. And now, I'm reaching into what you once buried, what you were too weary to continue praying for, and I'm uncovering it again, not as it was, but as I've shaped it through time. You see, prayer is not always answered the way you expect. Sometimes I let the seed go deep into the soil of waiting so that when it finally breaks through, it carries strength you didn't know you'd need. And what you buried, whether it was a dream, a relationship, a calling, a promise, or a cry for help, was not buried to die, but buried to be transformed. Hidden, yes, but not lost. Delayed, yes, but not denied. And now I say to you, prepare to see resurrection. Not in theory, in reality. What you prayed when no one else was listening is about to produce fruit when everyone else is watching. I remember the prayers you were too broken to finish. The sentences you started but didn't have the strength to end, I completed them with my spirit. The moments you collapsed in my presence, Unable to speak, I translated those tears into blueprints. I have kept every word, every sigh, every broken hallelujah. And I'm not just giving you what you asked for. I'm giving you what I knew you would need when you did have the strength to pray for more. You thought you were just asking for survival, I was preparing abundance. You thought you were begging for help, I was planning legacy. Your prayers may have come from pain, but their answers will come through power. This is why you had to wait. This is why the silence felt so long. Because some answers are too glorious to be rushed. I needed to stretch your spirit, deepen your capacity, widen your perspective so that when I fulfilled what you asked, you would have the endurance to carry it well. I'm not answering from a place of pity, I'm responding from a place of promise. And this time, when you receive it, you'll know it wasn't random. It wasn't luck. It was layered with intention. And it wasn't late. It was launched in perfect timing. So don't give up on what you whispered in despair. Don't cancel the prayers you prayed in trembling faith. I have been tending to those roots, watering them with my mercy, shielding them from premature exposure. And now, the season has shifted. The answers are beginning to emerge not in fragments, but in fullness. And when they come, you won't have to knock on doors, I'll open them before you reach them. You won't have to prove you're ready, your endurance will speak louder than credentials. Because what you buried in prayer was never lost. It was being woven into my divine unveiling. Watch closely, child. What you thought I forgot, I've been preparing to fulfill. What you thought slipped through my fingers, I've held tightly. What you prayed in secret, I will reward openly. And not just for you, but for the generations tied to your yes. You did not pray in vain. You planted something eternal. And now, the ground is beginning to shake with the evidence that heaven has not been silent. The answers are alive. The fulfillment is near. And I'm about to prove that I never missed a single word. And now that you understand, I remembered every word you buried in prayer, and you're beginning to sense that nothing was forgotten. I must take you into the truth behind the most misunderstood season of your life, the long, quiet, stretching nights. The moments when you couldn't find the path forward, when the walls of confusion closed in, when the world kept moving while your soul stood still. Those weren't signs that you failed, or that I was distant, or that I turned away from you. No, child. The night season you walked through was not punishment. It was preparation. It wasn't my rejection, it was my refinement. I was forming something in you that daylight could never produce. In the night, I stripped away the noise. I removed the distractions. I slowed the world around you until all you had left was me. And though it felt cruel at times, it was mercy. Because what I planned to pour into your life could not be contained by a soul cluttered with shallow ambition. I had to take you into the night to teach you how to see without sight, how to believe without proof, how to worship without applause. I had to teach you to hear my voice in stillness so you'd never confuse the volume of the crowd with the weight of my whisper. You thought you were forgotten. You thought you were left behind. But in truth, I was drawing you deeper than the surface ever allowed. I let the lights go out so your inner fire would be forced to burn. I let doors remain shut so you'd learn the sound of my knock. I hid certain things from you not to torment but to build trust. Because only in darkness does true intimacy form. Only when nothing else works do you discover what has always been working, my presence within you. The night season wasn't wasted. It was where roots grew. And those roots are what will now carry you when the winds of blessing begin to blow. The reason this night felt so endless is because I was teaching you endurance, not just to survive pain, but to hold glory. You were being trained in the shadows to carry light without letting it break you. I know what's coming, and I couldn't let your character remain undeveloped. You thought you were being ignored, but I was investing in you. You thought you were wandering, but I was walking beside you in every slow, uncertain step. You grew in places you didn't even notice: patience, discipline, discernment, compassion. And now, those qualities will become weapons in the days ahead. I didn't just let you walk through the night, I walked with you in it. I was the strength in your silence, I was the fire that didn't go out when you thought your hope was gone. I was the stillness that held you together when anxiety tried to unravel you. And now, the same night that once felt like a prison will become your testimony. You will minister not from theory, but from truth. You will speak not from assumption, but from survival. Others will find light because of the way you endured the darkness. And they'll ask, how did you make it through? And you'll answer, because even when I couldn't see him, he never left me. So don't resent the night. Don't rush past what it taught you. That season gave you depth. It gave you authenticity. It gave you a connection with me that cannot be shaken. The lessons you learned in silence are about to shout through your life. The treasure found in the crushing is about to shine through your words. You are no longer the person who entered that night. You've emerged for you, focus and fill it. And what comes next will make sense of a felt senseless. This next chapter needs the version of you that was formed in the dark. You're not fragile anymore. You're not easily shaken. You've walked through shadows and now you carry fire. So walk boldly into what I'm revealing. The night did not end you, it equipped you. And every time you feel the residue of that long silence, let it remind you, I was shaping something holy when no one else saw. And now, it's time to carry that strength into the light. The preparation is over. The release has begun. Now that you see your night season was not wasted, that every moment of darkness was preparing you for what could only grow in the unseen, let me bring you even closer to the core of my heart, those moments when no one noticed, when no one reached out, when you were completely alone with your pain. I was not distant. I was fully present. You cried in silence, but I listened loudly. The world may have continued turning while your soul sat still, but I never looked away. Every time you held your breath to keep from sobbing aloud, I was holding you. Every tear that fell in secret, I caught. Every time you choked back emotion to look strong for others, I recorded the sorrow. Not a single cry was missed. Not one expression of pain was overlooked by me. You assumed no one saw, so you stopped explaining. You decided it was better to carry the pain than to keep reaching for help that never came. But while others were unaware that I was attuned, while they were preoccupied, I was leaning in. And my listening isn't passive, it's powerful. I wasn't just hearing your words, I was absorbing the emotions behind them. I wasn't just witnessing your breakdown, I was collecting it all and weaving it into the very purpose I had already ordained for your life. You didn't realize it then, but your tears became oil. Your anguish became language. Your broken groans became the melody of deliverance that you will now carry for others. I heard you even when you thought your voice failed. I heard you when you had no more words. There is nothing about you I missed. The nights you cried for peace, the mornings you begged for strength, the days you functioned while feeling like you were dying inside, none of it went unnoticed. You didn't have to shout for me to hear you. I heard you in the silence. I heard you in the sigh. I heard you in the moments where you simply laid down, not because you were resting, but because standing up was too much. And I didn't just hear, I responded. You're here now because I acted on what you thought was ignored. You survived what should have broken you. You're still breathing when the weight should have crushed you. That wasn't random endurance. That was me, working on the cries you assumed disappeared into emptiness. Child, let this truth settle into your spirit. Your pain was never dismissed. I never called it dramatic. I never labeled it weakness. I never compared your suffering to someone else's. When you hurt, I was moved. When you wept, I drew closer. When you said, God, I don't know how much more I can take, I didn't sit silently, I began to shift things, even when you couldn't see them yet. While you cried on the outside, I was working on the inside. While you were asking for escape, I was fortifying your roots. Your pain was not ignored, it was holy ground. And I was there, listening with a love that refuses to walk away. Now you will begin to see the answers that grew out of those hidden cries. You will witness the strength that came from your surrender. Others will look at you and admire your resilience. but you'll know it wasn't resilience, it was dependence. It was raw, tear-soaked trust that refused to give up. You'll minister with a depth others can't explain because what you carry didn't come from classrooms, it came from your secret place of brokenness. I will use what you survived to heal others. I will send you to people who prayed the same prayers, cried the same tears, and felt the same silence you once endured. And you will speak not with theory, but with authority, because I was there when you were undone. And now, I will be there as I rebuild you with glory. Don't downplay those silent nights. Don't be ashamed of how deep the pain went. That silence was sacred. That sorrow was noticed. That darkness was my invitation to stay close, and you accepted. So now, I reward you not because you performed, but because you remain. You stayed even when nothing changed. You trusted me when nothing made sense. And that kind of faith is never ignored. I listened loudly. I moved deeply. And now, the fruit of your silence is about to speak louder than anything you've ever shouted. What was once hidden will now shine. What was once a whisper of desperation will now become a roar of restoration. Now that you know I was listening even when your cries were silent, now that you've come to understand that your quiet surrender carried more power than the world ever saw, I want you to grasp what is unfolding at this very moment in the spiritual realm. Your voice, the one you thought was too weak, too broken, too tired, has reached my throne. And because it reached me, now my hand is reaching for you. You did not just survive the silence, you activated heaven. You didn't just cry, you called me. You didn't just pray, you positioned me to move. And now, I'm not just responding with comfort, I'm reaching into your life with demonstration. The waiting is turning into movement. The unseen obedience is becoming visible intervention. What you whispered in isolation caused a ripple in eternity. While you were on your knees wondering if I heard, I was dispatching help, issuing orders, stirring resources, aligning outcomes. And now, my hand, symbol of my authority, my power, my direction, is extending toward you, not to brush against you lightly, but to grab hold of you with strength that shifts everything. My hand is not symbolic, it is sovereign. When I stretch my hand toward someone, nothing stays the same. What was stuck begins to move. What was dying begins to breathe. What was blocked begins to open. You are about to feel what happens when heaven touches earth, and this time, it touches you. You didn't earn this touch through perfection. You didn't perform to get my attention. It was your consistency in chaos, your belief without evidence, your endurance when quitting would have made sense. That's what reached me. And now I'm reaching you, not gently, but fully. I'm reaching into the areas you hid, into the places you gave up on, into the prayers you stopped repeating because you didn't want another disappointment. I'm reaching into your story not to rewrite it, but to redeem it. I'm touching what trauma tried to label permanent. I'm placing my hand on what history tried to bury. I'm entering the room of your inner life where you locked the door and said, "This is too painful to deal with." And I'm not knocking. I'm entering because you gave me access when you prayed. Let me tell you what happens when my hand reaches you. Bondage begins to break without explanation. Doors that were rusted shut begin to swing open without human assistance. Timelines that look too far gone begin to collapse under the weight of divine acceleration. You'll speak something simple, and it will carry power. You'll show up without status, and rooms will shift because I came with you. This is not about giving you goosebumps, this is about giving you divine momentum. My hand carries force. When I move, everything surrounding you must adjust. And I say to you now, brace yourself, not because harm is coming, but because help is coming so quickly. You won't have time to prepare for how rapidly things will change. The questions that haunted you will begin to dissolve as my hand moves. Not because you figured it all out, but because I'm lifting you above the fog. I'm not fixing surface issues, I'm righting roots. I'm not changing symptoms, I'm healing causes. You're about to be surprised not by a miracle you hoped for, but by the magnitude of what I had planned all along. What I do in the next moments of your life will not just encourage you, it will announce me. People will see it and ask, how did that happen? And the only honest answer will be, God reached down. You may not feel qualified. You may not feel strong. You may not feel ready. But my hand is not reaching for you because of how you feel, it's reaching because of what I've spoken. And I don't stretch my hand in vain. When I move, nothing can resist me. No barrier is stronger. No delay is more persistent. No demonic interference can stand when I decide to intervene. And I have decided this is your moment of contact. You have reached me, and now I reach for you. So stay open. Stay aware. Stay yielded. Because my hand is not just passing by, it is landing on you. And when it does, what was too heavy will be lifted. What was too distant will be pulled close. What was too broken will begin to rebuild. My child, this is the hour where what you couldn't do in your own strength will be completed through my touch. You spoke in weakness, but you stirred heaven. And now, the same hand that formed galaxies is reaching into your life, and nothing will remain untouched. Now that my hand has reached for you intentionally, forcefully, and without hesitation, it's not just to lift you up, not only to restore what was lost, but to transform you into something far greater than a recipient. You are now becoming a vessel, a living conduit through which my miracles will flow. And I speak this not as a metaphor or poetic promise, this is a present reality. You will be a conduit of miracles tonight. On some day. Not when you feel ready. Not once you've achieved perfection or gathered applause. Tonight, my glory is choosing your yielded life as the highway for heaven's touch. You've often believed that miracles were reserved for special places or special people, those with titles, platforms, or perfect reputations. But I have always chosen the surrendered over the spectacular. I don't look for spotless resumes. I look for open hearts. I move through those who stop trying to oppress me and simply let me in. And that's you. I've seen you empty yourself over and over. I've seen you lay down your timing, your pride, your expectations. I've watched you show up when it was easier to stay hidden. I've seen you love when you had no guarantee it would be returned. That surrender has qualified you more than you realize. You are not just prepared, you are positioned. Miracles will move through you, not because you speak perfectly, but because you've allowed me to purify what no one else could. You've let me wash your intentions, reshape your focus, silence your ego. And now, there is space in you where my power can rest and flow. You are not the source, but you are the vessel. And tonight, I will pour through you like never before. This is not about a performance. This is about partnership. When you open your mouth, I will fill it. When you lay your hands, I will respond. When you step into a room, the atmosphere will feel me, because I'm no longer simply with you, I'm moving through you. There are people I will bring into your space tonight whose hearts are heavy, whose minds are tormented, whose hope has been fading, and without you knowing the details, I will give you the words that break yokes. I will place healing in your touch. I will send revelation through your silence. I am trusting you not because you're flawless, but because you're faithful. And I need vessels that don't seek attention, but seek obedience. That's what you've become. That's what I'm honoring now. Heaven has marked this night. The supernatural is not just coming near, it is passing through you like a current, setting things in motion that no earthly effort could achieve. You'll begin to notice subtle signs tingling in your hands, unusual peace in your spirit, sudden clarity that wasn't there before. These are not coincidences. These are signals. Heaven's river is flowing, and you're standing in the center of it. Do not hesitate. Do not second guess. If I prompt you to speak, do it. If I move you to pray, don't delay. If I instruct you to move, trust me. The miracles will not happen because you force them, they will happen because you follow. The pressure is not on you to perform. The call is on you to obey. My Spirit will do the rest. This is not for your glory. This is not about you being seen. This is about me touching my people through someone who finally said, "Yes, Lord, whatever you want." That yes became the open gate. That surrender became the connection point between heaven and earth. And because of that yes, lives will be changed. Chains will break. Tears will turn to praise. And the best part, you will not walk away wondering if it was real. You will feel me so strongly, so tangibly, that you'll never again doubt whether I could use someone like you. Because after tonight, you'll know I don't choose based on status, I choose based on surrender. To breathe deeply, quiet your heart, and make space. Because my power isn't on its way, it's here. And you are not just in the audience. You are the conduit. You are the open gate. And tonight, miracles will not just happen around you. They will happen through you. This is not imagination. This is manifestation. The supernatural is responding to your obedience. And now, the world will see what heaven already knew. You are a living place of encounter. Now that you've stepped into the flow of my spirit and miracles are beginning to move through you, not as a spectator but as a vessel, it is vital that you understand the sacred weight of what I'm doing. This is not a spectacle. This is not for admiration. This is not to create a moment that fades into memory. This is not for show, it's for souls. I have not chosen you so people will applaud. I have positioned you because someone's life depends on what I'm doing through you. This isn't a performance. This is a rescue mission. When I move through you, I'm not interested in impressing crowds, I'm interested in reaching hearts that have been drowning silently for years. There are souls whose lives are hanging in the balance, and I am sending you like a lifeline. That's why the anointing feels heavier. That's why the urgency inside you is growing. This is not the time for religious routine or surface-level spirituality. This is the hour for holy obedience, for radical compassion, for walking into broken places without needing credit, without needing cameras, without needing to be known. Souls are at stake, and I trust you not to make it about you. That's why I chose you. That's why I didn't give you the stage before I gave you the struggle. Because now you understand what matters. Now you know what it means to weep with those who weep. Now you move not from ambition but from brokenness transformed into power. There are people you will encounter who don't need a sermon, they need safety. They need someone who's not trying to be impressive but available. Someone who will carry my presence without needing to announce it. That's who you become. And I'm going to send you into moments that may seem small, that may be overlooked by others, but those moments are loaded with eternal weight. One sentence spoken in my spirit can undo a lifetime of torment. One act of kindness led by my hand can break through decades of trauma. One whispered prayer behind closed doors can set off a chain reaction of deliverance. You are not walking with empty gestures, you are walking with fire wrapped in humility. You not seek spotlight. Seek alignment. You not wait for platforms. Walk into purpose. I am not sending you to be famous, I'm sending you to be faithful. Because it's not about being owned by many, it's about being trusted by me. And child, I trust you now. You've been through the fire and didn't quit. You stood in silence and didn't curse me. You've wrestled in prayer when you could have walked away. That is what I build upon. Not charm, not eloquence, but surrender. Souls need what I've cultivated in you. They're not looking for entertainment. They're desperate for real encounter. And I've made you a resting place for my spirit, so that when they come near you, they come near me. This is why the enemy fought so hard to make you bitter. He wanted to turn your compassion into coldness, your worship into cynicism, your passion into performance. But you didn't let him. You chose to stay soft in my presence. You let me purify your motives. And now, because you've been refined, I can trust you with souls, not numbers, not crowds, but hearts. I'm sending you into divine collisions. You won't always know who's watching, but I will. You won't always see the full result, but I will. You may never be thanked, but heaven will record every step, every word, every tear that becomes an open door for someone else to walk through. And when you start to feel overwhelmed, when the needs seem endless and your strength seems small, remember this. I am not asking you to fix everyone. I'm asking you to follow me moment by moment. I'll guide you. I'll show you when to speak and when to stay silent. I'll give you discernment when the room is heavy and wisdom when the words don't come easily. You don't have to carry the burden alone. Just carry my presence, and I will do the rest. So walk now with clarity. This is not about being seen, it's about being sent. This is not about applause, it's about impact. This is not about your name, it's about the souls I'm reaching through your life. And I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for your yes. And child, because you said it, I'm moving. And lives will never be the same again. And now that you've embraced the truth that this movement is not a performance but a divine pursuit of lost, aching, forgotten souls, I want you to understand the deeper purpose behind why I chose you specifically for this hour. It's not merely because you were willing, but because your willingness has matured into bold obedience. And that boldness, when surrendered to my spirit, becomes a revelation of me to those who could not see me before. You've cried out for me to be visible in your life. And now I say yes, they will see me, but they won't see me through miracles alone or signs from the sky. They will see me through your bold obedience. Your obedience in this season is not about dramatic acts or grand declarations, it's about doing what I say, when I say it, even when no one understands, even when it costs you comfort, even when it disrupts your plans, even when it means walking into places where others are afraid to go. That obedience becomes the canvas upon which I paint my character. You don't need to strive to represent me, I will represent myself through your surrendered steps. When you obey me without hesitation, when you move even when it doesn't make sense, when you speak what I place in your mouth regardless of who approves, my presence is revealed in power. And this is what the world is starving for, not more noise, not more opinions, but someone who walks in such alignment with me that their obedience becomes undeniable evidence that I am real. It's not your charisma that will reveal me. It's not your following. It's not your eloquence. It's your obedience. It's when you forgive the one who never apologized. It's when you stay in the room no one else wants to enter. It's when you build what hasn't been seen before. It's when you stand when sitting would be easier. That is when they will see me. That is when they will sense there's something different. That is when their hearts will begin to open, not because of what you say, but because of how you live. This is why I've trained you in silence. This is why I've called you into moments where no instructions made sense. Because bold obedience can't be learned in comfort. It's cultivated in mystery. It's forged in the place where nothing feels certain but my voice. You learned how to follow me through fog. You kept going without applause. And that's exactly what makes you dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. You move not by sight, but by trust. And now, when you step out, when you act in faith, when you follow the whisper that others can't hear, heaven moves with you. I don't need you to explain yourself. I just need you to walk. Because your walking becomes prophecy. There will be moments where I tell you to go before you have the full picture. There will be instructions that stretch your logic and test your submission. But child, the impact of your obedience will far outweigh the discomfort of the unknown. You are not just obeying for yourself. You are clearing paths for others. You are modeling what it looks like to trust me in real time. And as you move, walls will break that words couldn't bring down. Hearts will soften that sermons couldn't reach. Because when people see someone truly yielded, truly bold, truly surrendered, they encounter me in the purest form. I will use your obedience to confound the proud. I will use your obedience to awaken the weary. I will use your obedience to draw the outcast. And it won't be flashy. It won't always feel spiritual. Sometimes it'll look like serving quietly. Sometimes it'll feel like letting go when everything in you wants to fight. But every time you obey me, it shakes something in the atmosphere. Every time you choose to yield instead of control, you open another doorway for my presence to enter. This is how cities shift. This is how families are restored. This is how generations are healed, not by ambition, but by obedience. So don't underestimate what I ask of you. Whether it feels big or small, familiar or strange, if it comes from me, it carries eternal weight. They will not always understand, but they will feel it. They will not always agree, but they will be impacted. Because when you obey boldly, you make space for heaven to interrupt earth. And child, That's what I'm doing now through you. Keep listening. Keep moving. Because they are watching. And through your obedience they will finally see me. And now that you've embraced bold obedience as the pathway through which I reveal myself to those who are searching, you must be guarded against one of the enemy's most persistent tactics, fear of their reactions. Because as you move in alignment with my instruction, not everyone will understand. Not everyone will agree. Not everyone will applaud. Some will criticize what they can't comprehend. Some will question your motives. Others will distance themselves when your obedience challenges their complacency. But I say to you, do not let their reactions determine your faithfulness. Don't shrink. Don't retreat. Don't hold back to keep others comfortable. I am your reward. Your obedience is not a performance for people to evaluate. It's an offering to me. And I do not judge by appearance, by status, or by popularity. I judge by faith, my trust, my surrender. When I ask you to move, it's not because I need your perfection, it's because I've found your yes trustworthy. And that yes will often make others uncomfortable, because it exposes their unwillingness to move. But don't let their silence confuse you. Don't let their absence define your value. I've seen what no one else has. I've watched you obey when it cost you relationships. I've seen you stand when support faded. I was there when you kept going, not for attention, but because my voice mattered more than their approval. That's why I'm telling you this now. Your reward is not in their praise. It's in my presence. Your fulfillment will not come from applause. It will come from impact. There are things I will do through you that they won't be able to explain, and because they can't explain it, they may resist it. That's not your burden to carry. Your only assignment is to keep listening and keep moving. I never asked you to convince them. I only asked you to follow me. When they question you, let your fruit answer. When they mock you, let your peace speak louder. When they walk away, remember some are not rejecting you. They are resisting what your obedience is awakening in them. You are not being rejected, you are being refined. I'm separating the voices that once mattered too much so that mine becomes the only one that leads you forward. I'm not isolating you to hurt you, I'm consecrating you to protect you. Some tables you were removed from were never part of your destiny. Some circles you were left out of were divinely closed so that you could grow without distraction. I'm not building your life around popularity. I'm building it around purpose. And purpose doesn't always trend. It doesn't always look impressive. But it always produces eternal fruit. When you feel overlooked, come to me. When their words sting, sit with me. When their silence is louder than their support, rest in me. I am your defender. I am your validation. I am your reward. What I'm preparing for you doesn't need their permission. What I'm unlocking in your future doesn't depend on who stood with you in the past. I have marked you for something sacred, and with that calling comes a refining not of your value, but of your focus. Stop waiting for them to catch up. Stop waiting for them to applaud. Run the race I've set before you, even if you run it alone. Because you are not alone. You never were. Heaven has been clapping for you in rooms where earth was silent. Angels have been dispatched because of prayers you prayed in private. I have been moved by your faith when no one else noticed your sacrifice. And soon, you will see that everything you let go of was making space for everything I've been waiting to give. The reward is not delayed, it's being revealed in its time. And that time is drawing near. So move forward, not for their reaction, but for my glory. Speak what I place in your mouth. Walk where I lead your feet. Do not explain yourself to those who choose not to listen. Let the fruit speak. Let the impact speak. Let the change in lives around you speak. And let me be enough for you. Because when all is said and done, it will not be their words that matter, it will be mine. And I will say, well done, my faithful one. So keep going. I'm still with you. And I will be your reward. Now that you've let go of the need for human validation and fixed your eyes on me as your true reward, I can now tell you why your obedience carries such weight. You see, What I'm doing through you is not just for the present moment, it's for the future I've written through your bloodline, your legacy, and your sphere of influence. What you release in faith will not stay confined to this day. It will echo into the lives of people you may never meet, into places you will never step foot in physically, into hearts that will be touched because of your unwavering yes in secret. The steps you take in boldness are becoming the blueprint for generations that will walk behind you. You're not just making decisions, you're leaving an inheritance of unshakable faith. You have no idea the ripple effect that's being created by every act of obedience you release. That prayer you whispered while battling your own fears, it planted a seed that will bloom in the heart of someone years from now who will need the courage to rise. That choice you made to forgive when you had every right to remain angry, that broke a chain that ran through your family for decades. That word you spoke in love to someone on the edge, it became the lifeline that redirected a soul who was slipping. That sacrifice you made without anyone watching, you opened doors for blessings your children will walk through. I know it's hard to see the scope of what I'm doing while you're in the middle of it. I know sometimes you wonder if your steps are making a difference, but I am telling you now, they are. Every time you speak when I prompt you, every time you move forward despite not seeing the full picture, you are laying foundations that I will build on for years to come. Faith doesn't just change your life, it reshapes the atmosphere for everyone connected to you. It speaks in the language of legacy. There are generations behind you who will thank me for your faith, even if they never know your name. There are battles they will never have to fight because you broke ground for them in prayer. There are burdens they will never carry because you chose to carry the cross today. You are the turning point. You are the bridge I'm using between what was and what will be. And I know the weight feels heavier than you expected, but I promise you this, it's producing something eternal. Something that cannot be measured by applause or timelines. Something that cannot be canceled by delay or silence. Do not underestimate the authority of your yes. Do not belittle the fire in your bones. What you think is small, I am using as a spark that will ignite generations of faithfulness. You will be the reason someone years from now says, I don't know why, but I feel like I can keep going. And the reason will be your obedience. You will be the unseen reason for someone's healing, the unspoken force behind someone's breakthrough. You are releasing something holy every time you trust me in the unseen. And yes, the enemy knows this. That's why the warfare has increased. That's why your life has felt like a constant push. Because what you're birthing is not ordinary, it's generational. It's a threat to every curse, every lie, every system that's tried to keep your family, your region, your calling in bondage. You are carrying something powerful, and what flows from you will not dry up, it will expand. So continue to move, even if it feels like your steps are quiet. Continue to speak, even if your voice shakes. Continue to believe, even if results take time. Because you are not walking alone, you are walking with the weight of divine assignment, and the heavens are backing every move. Keep releasing what I place in your spirit. Keep walking even when the ground beneath you feels unfamiliar. You are not just moving forward, you are shaking the soil beneath your feet. You are shifting the future. And soon, you will see the fruit of what you've released, not just in your life, but in those who rise because of it. Your faith is the kind that doesn't fade, it multiplies. It won't just change your story. It will change the generations that follow. What you release in faith now will still be speaking long after you're gone. That's how eternal your obedience truly is. Now that you understand how your obedience echoes into generations, I must confront the lie that has tried to quietly follow you in the background, the whisper that says you're too small for something this big, that you're not enough, that you're somehow unfit to carry what I've placed in your hands, that you're unqualified for the weight of influence I've begun to release. But hear me clearly now. You are not too small, you are chosen for this. I did not make a mistake. I did not overlook someone more capable. I didn't assign this to you because I had no one else. I assigned this to you because I saw something in you that you haven't even fully recognized yet: trustworthiness. You keep looking at your weaknesses like they disqualify you, but I'm telling you, those very areas of vulnerability are where my strength will shine brightest. I didn't need someone who had it all figured out. I needed someone who wouldn't try to do it without me. And that's who you are. You've leaned on me, sometimes out of desperation, sometimes out of brokenness, but you leaned in. You didn't run when it got hard. You didn't walk away when the process exposed your fears. You stayed, and that's what made you ready. Not perfection, not expertise, but the fact that you didn't quit when everything in you wanted to. When I choose someone, I don't consult public opinion. I don't look at how many followers they have. I don't weigh resumes or status. I look for surrender. I look for humility. I look for that one soul who says, God, I don't feel worthy, but if you want me, I'm here. That's why I heard from you. And because of that, I've written your name into places where you felt invisible. I've placed your feet on paths where you never expected to walk. I've spoken your name in rooms that your name hasn't even reached yet. And it's not because you chased greatness, it's because you remained faithful in the hidden places. You are not small in my eyes. You are mighty because I dwell in you. You are not insignificant. You are a key to unlocking freedom for others who think they've been forgotten. You are not a placeholder. You are the one I've appointed to stand at the edge of change and say, yes, Lord, use me. You looked at others and thought, they're better equipped. But I look at you and say, they don't carry what you carry. Your journey has carved out a space for compassion that can't be faked. Your pain has produced wisdom that books can't teach. Your obedience has built authority that can't be bought. Don't let the enemy deceive you into believing your size determines your impact. My son came in the form of a servant. David was overlooked by his own family. Esther had no voice until she risked everything. I've always chosen what looks small to confound the powerful. I've always used what was hidden to shake what was inhabitable. And I'm doing it again through you. You are part of a divine pattern, a holy disruption that doesn't seek recognition but brings transformation. So lift your head. Stop apologizing for taking up space in rooms I've opened. Stop second-guessing the anointing I've poured into you. You didn't earn it, it was assigned. And now, it is time to walk in it with the quiet confidence of one who knows they were sent. Not loud, not boastful, but firm, clear, rooted. You were chosen for this hour. You were born for this stretch of history. The enemy tried to keep you small by feeding you fear. But I am enlarging your vision, expanding your reach, deepening your voice. You don't need permission from people to walk in what I've already confirmed. And when doubt returns, and it will remind yourself of who called you. I didn't choose you because of your credentials. I chose you because of your heart. You are not an accident in this move of mine. You are a vessel, handpicked, fire-tested, and trusted. And I will use you not despite your size, but because of it. Because the world needs to see what happens when I take someone others ignored and raise them into influence that can't be denied. So walk forward now, not in arrogance, but in assurance. You're not too small. You're chosen. And I will prove it through you. Now that you finally accepted you are not too small, that you are handpicked and established by my authority, I want you to understand what I am doing in this exact moment while everything around you may still appear quiet. You're expecting me to move through action, through crowds, through motion, through noise, but I tell you now, I am pouring my fire into your stillness. Not your striving, not your hustle, not your performance. Into the stillness right where you feel paused, hidden, and slowed down. That stillness you've misjudged as stagnation is where I am now releasing something sacred that cannot be imparted through activity alone. You've been conditioned to believe that momentum equals movement, that breakthrough only happens in motion. But I am not limited to your pace. I work in depths that speed can't reach. And right now, while your hands may not be building something visible, I am building something unshakable inside of you. I've led you into a quiet place, not to punish you with delay, but to saturate you with power. This stillness is not empty. It is pregnant with fire, I'm not wasting your waiting, I'm filling it. I'm igniting something in your spirit that will not burn out, something that is being lit without spotlight, without applause, without noise. So when I release you, what burns in you cannot be extinguished by pressure. There is a holy combustion happening beneath the surface of your days. You think nothing is happening because the phone is silent. The doors aren't swinging wide. The opportunities haven't burst forth. But I have removed distractions, silenced clamor, and narrowed your vision not to restrict you but to refine you. This is not isolation, it is consecration. This is not punishment, it's preservation. I'm doing something in this sacred pause that cannot be replicated in a rush. This kind of fire needs stillness to settle in every layer of who you are. I am pouring revelation into your quiet hours. I am burning away residue from old seasons. I am branding my word into your bones so that when the shaking comes, you won't flinch, you'll remain. This fire is not meant to oppress. It's meant to withstand. I'm not training you to start fast, I'm preparing you to last long. Because the weight of what's ahead requires more than outward readiness. It demands inward fire. And that's what I'm building now. I'm teaching you to carry me without needing to be seen. I'm teaching you to burn for me without needing an audience. I'm teaching you to glow in obscurity so that when the light hits you later, it will only reveal what's already informed in private. The stillness may feel unnatural to your flesh, but it is necessary for your spirit. You're used to proving yourself by how much you do. But I'm inviting you into a deeper identity where your power comes not from motion, but from union. Where you no longer perform for affirmation, but rest in the truth that you are mine. That's where true fire flows, from intimacy, not industry. And this season of stillness is where I'm restoring your capacity to hear me clearly, to recognize me quickly, and to move only when I say so. I am not a God who rushes. I am a God who ignites. And when I say the word, you will rise from this stillness with clarity the world cannot shake. You will move not with panic, but with precision. You will chase open doors, they'll open toward you. You won't beg for opportunities, they'll be drawn to the fire within you. Because people are not looking for perfection anymore, they are desperate for authenticity. For someone who burns with something real. And child, that's what I'm placing inside you now, something real. Something unshakable. Something eternal. So don't curse the stillness. Don't resent the quiet. Don't waste energy trying to make things happen. Stay with me. Let the fire do its work. Let my spirit settle into every hidden chamber of your soul. You are being filled for longevity, not just for a moment. And when you emerge, it won't be with a flicker, it will be with a flame that makes darkness back away. I am pouring my fire into your stillness now. And soon, the world will feel the heat of what I started in silence. Now that you have begun to understand the value of stillness and how my fire is being poured into the quietest parts of your journey, I need you to know this. In this night, your silence will carry power. Not just your prayers, not just your declarations, not even your worship alone. Your silence itself is becoming a weapon. Your ability to remain grounded when chaos surrounds you, your decision to hold peace when everything demands a reaction, your resolve to say nothing when your flesh wants to explain everything. This kind of silence is not weakness. It is warfare. And in this moment, I am placing a divine weight upon your silence that will speak louder than any defense ever could. There will be situations that arise in this season where the old you would have responded. You would have stepped into the chaos to defend, to correct, to justify. But now, your silence will be evidence that you trust me more than you trust your own words. Your restraint will reveal maturity. Your refusal to engage what I did not call you to fight will become a shield that confuses the enemy. He's used to pulling you into battles through agitation. He's used to distracting you through emotional reactions. But now, I am anointing your silence to shut down strategies before they even begin. Your lack of response will not be passivity, it will be precision. There is a holy stillness resting on your spirit that doesn't need to explain itself to be effective. When you walk into rooms with unresolved tension, you won't have to say much. The atmosphere will bend under the weight of my presence inside you. Conversations may swirl, Opinions may fly, rumors may spread, but your silence will carry the thunder of heaven. Because you're not withdrawing in fear, you're standing in divine confidence. You know who sent you. You know whose voice matters. You know what your assignment is. And you refuse to be pulled into distractions dressed as urgency. I've seen how hard it's been for you to stay quiet. I've watched the moments where you could have spoken up to prove your point, where you wanted to scream the truth just to be heard. But child, I've been guarding your voice for something greater than self-defense. I'm preserving your breath for declarations that shift regions, not arguments that waste energy. Every time you've held your tongue when your heart burned, you were planting seeds of power that will now rise in strength. That silence, it wasn't wasted, it was stored. And now I'm releasing it as influence. Don't misinterpret the silence I've required from you. It hasn't been a void, it's been a consecration. I've been setting you apart, and silence was the chamber where I refined your motives, purified your tone, and stripped away every desire to be validated by noise. Because where I'm taking you, your words must come from a place of clarity, not urgency. Your voice must carry authority, not anxiety. So I've trained you through silence to speak with impact. I've taught you that sometimes the most powerful statement is presence. Sometimes the loudest sermon is restraint. And sometimes the breakthrough doesn't come by saying more but by saying nothing and letting me speak on your behalf. I am the one who vindicates. I am the one who defends. I am the one who brings light to hidden things. You don't need to expose others to rise. You don't need to shout to be effective. You just need to remain yielded. I've hidden you not to beauty you but to sharpen you. I've hushed your responses not to punish you but to increase your discernment. You're learning what most never do, how to move in quiet strength. And this strength will now make space for you in ways you never imagined. So tonight, when the weight of misunderstanding presses in, when the temptation to react arises, when the silence feels suffocating, remember this. Your silence is carrying power. It is shifting the root. It is holding space for my justice. It is anchoring you in peace that no voice can shake. And soon, the same mouths that misunderstood your silence will witness the harvest of your restraint. They will see the fruit of your hidden wisdom. They will hear the echo of your obedience. Because silence in the hands of the surrendered becomes a trumpet in the hands of heaven. Let it carry. Let it speak. Let it roar without sound. I am moving through it, and they will feel it. Now that you've learned the strength of silence and the reverence it carries when it's rooted in obedience, I must now show you what that stillness has prepared you for. You've been trained not just to endure the pressure but to speak with precision. And I tell you now, the storm you feared will obey your words. The very turbulence that once intimidated you, that once left you shaking, praying, retreating, questioning, crying, it will now respond to your voice, not because of volume, but because of authority. Not because you've rehearsed a powerful sentence, but because I've deposited authority through your surrender. You were never called to live at the mercy of the storm. I did not design you to be tossed by the waves, driven by the winds, or paralyzed by the thunder. I have walked you through the valley of stillness so that when you stand before the chaos, you speak from a place of deep knowing. You won't be begging me to move. You'll be declaring what I've already said. You'll be speaking from union with me, not pleading for intervention, but commanding alignment. This is the shift. This is the divine reversal. What used to silence you will now submit to you. When my son stood in the boat and faced the raging sea, he didn't shout to heaven for help. He spoke, "Peace, be still." And creation obeyed. That same spirit now rests in you. That same authority lives inside your ribcage. You don't need to wait for someone else to speak on your behalf. I've anointed your voice. I've baptized your mouth with power. I've entrusted you with language that echoes through atmospheres. What you survived was not just for survival, it was to prepare your mouth for command. You've passed through pain not just to tell your story, but to shift environments with your voice. The storm isn't your enemy, it's your training ground. I've let it roar around you so you would learn the rhythm of heaven in the middle of unrest. You now carry calm in chaos. You carry fire in stillness. And when the storm rises next time, you won't panic, you'll prophesy. You'll open your mouth and decree not what you see, but what I've shown you. You'll speak direction when everything feels lost. You'll release clarity when confusion crowds the room. You'll silence torment by standing in my word. And the storm will know your voice, because it knows the one who lives within you. Do not shrink when turbulence comes again. Do not revert to fear. Do not question if you're ready. The very fact that the winds have returned is proof that the enemy fears what's about to come from your mouth. You've grown. You've matured. You've developed spiritual stamina. You no longer speak from impulse, you speak from intimacy. You no longer declare based on emotion, you declare based on revelation. And that kind of voice carries weight. That kind of voice shifts things. That kind of voice makes hell tremble and heaven move. I will give you the words in the moment you need them. Don't overthink. Don't rehearse. Just stay close to me. Stay in rhythm. Say in trust. I will whisper and you will speak. I will nudge and you will release. I will show you and you will say it, and creation will recognize the voice that once calmed the seas is now speaking again through my surrendered ones. You are not shouting for survival anymore. You are declaring victory. And when others are overwhelmed, you will be the one who says, "Peace, be still." When the room is filled with confusion, you will be the one who declares, "Let there be light." When fear runs high, you will anchor the moment. Because you have been made into a pillar, forged through quiet fire, and now ready to steady others with the words I've entrusted to you. This storm isn't your end, it's your assignment. So stand up, open your mouth, and speak what I've placed in you. You don't need the atmosphere to be calm to speak peace. You speak peace, and the atmosphere will align. This is the power of my presence in you. The storm has no authority over your destiny, but your words rooted in me have authority over the storm. So go ahead, say it, and watch it obey. My beloved child, what I have placed within you is not just for comfort, it is confrontational by nature. You are not simply a carrier of light, you are a revealer of hidden things. That's why, when you enter certain places, people shift. They grow uncomfortable. Not because you did anything wrong, but because the spirit of truth you carry begins to pull at the veil they've been hiding behind. You didn't say a word, yet something in the room changed. That wasn't coincidence, it was clarity arriving unannounced. This is why I have been so intentional with your process. I haven't rushed you because the oil I'm pouring on you requires refinement. You've wondered why I took you the long way, why I sat you down when you were ready to run. It's because I didn't want you merely to inspire, I called you to disrupt darkness. I've allowed you to be misunderstood so you could be purified of the need for approval. I've let you walk alone so your allegiance would be to my voice alone. And now, you carry something that cannot be copied. What's inside you isn't decoration, it's declaration. Every step I took you through has forged a discernment in you that doesn't just notice surface things, it sees beneath. You won't be easily fooled. You won't fall for flattery. You won't be impressed by performance. You've been trained in the unseen realm. You've learned to recognize what others miss. That's why, even in silence, your presence disturbs demonic systems. You don't have to expose anyone, your very existence becomes a mirror. And people who have been comfortable hiding behind religion, routine, or reputation will feel the pressure to confront what they've buried. This isn't to make you proud, it's to make you bold. You've been afraid of confrontation because you associated it with rejection. But I'm redefining it for you. Confrontation, when done in love, is restoration in motion. You're not called to destroy people, you're called to disarm the lies they've believed. You are my messenger, not my judge. You're not sent to shame, but to shake. And what you carry, truth and purity, discernment and grace, fire and compassion, will provoke what's been pretending for too long. Don't water yourself down to fit in spaces I sent you to shift. Don't apologize for the oil you carry. I didn't anoint you for comfort, I anointed you for Kalian. You were designed to bring alignment, to call out what's real, to awaken what's been dormant. You're not the loudest in the room, but when you speak, the room adjusts. That's not arrogance, that's authority through surrender. The ones who get irritated by your presence are not your enemies, they're encountering me through you, and it's unfamiliar. Don't take it personal, take it spiritual. This is also why your circle has shrunk. Not everyone can walk closely with someone who carries clarity. People love support, but few are ready for sharpening. You were never meant to be palatable, you were meant to be prophetic. You're not assigned to entertain, you're called to equip. You're not here to keep things the same, you're here to bring a shift. So when doors close without reason, when people distance themselves without warning, don't chase, bless them. I'm removing what would have diluted you. Be ready, beloved, because what you carry will start stirring more boldly in the days ahead. You'll walk into rooms and feel atmosphere shift before anyone speaks. You'll discern conversations happening without words. You'll sense motives masked by kindness. And I will give you wisdom when to speak, when to wait, when to walk away. You're not a hammer for every situation, but you are a key for the ones I assign. Trust my timing. Follow my cues. And never doubt what you carry. You did become this overnight. I shaped this in secret. I've been working behind the curtain while you thought nothing was happening. Every silent prayer, every tear sown in surrender, every moment of obedience when no one was watching, it built something powerful inside you. That's why you're no longer shaken by surface storms. You've become dangerous to the enemy because you carry the real thing. And the real thing cannot be hidden, faked, or silenced. What you carry will confront what others hide, not to harm but to heal. Keep walking boldly, my child. This world needs what's in you. My beloved child, what I deposited in your spirit is beyond reach of manipulation. It is not a gift that can be twisted, misused, or rebranded by human hands. What I entrusted to you is sealed by my own authority. No system, no voice of jealousy, no network of control, no relationship rooted in agenda can take ownership over what I have authored in you. I made sure that what you carry would not be dependent on man's validation or shaped by popularity. You were set apart for something incorruptible. This is why I removed certain people from your life when you didn't understand why. It wasn't about rejection, it was protection. I saw the strings they were quietly tying to your purpose, how they wanted to package your potential to benefit their own plans. I saw the way they subtly suggested who you should become, who you should please, who you should follow. But I didn't bring you this far to have you become someone's puppet. I didn't pour my spirit into you so others could brand you in their image. I interrupted it before they could distort what was divine. You may have wept when those connections ended, but I rejoiced because I was securing your calling. You may have felt abandoned, but I was realigning you. I am not letting your future be negotiated behind closed doors by people who never paid the price for what you carry. I didn't fast for it. I didn't cry for it. They didn't battle in silence when you had nothing but my word to stand on. What was birthed in the wilderness cannot be sold in the marketplace. It is sacred. It is sovereign. It is mine. People will try to claim influence over your rise. They will act as if your anointing owes them something. But I'm clarifying this now. No one can take credit for what I'm doing in you. I alone lifted you when no one else looked your way. I alone trained you in silence while others celebrated the visible. I alone whispered truth to you when every other voice confused you. So don't let anyone guilt you into servitude. You do not owe your journey to anyone but me. Even now, some may be watching and wondering my favor keeps finding you after all you've been through. They'll try to find the formula, the method, the secret, not realizing that what's on you isn't a product of technique, it's a result of surrender. You didn't climb your way here, you laid yourself down. You didn't push your way forward, you waited on me. You didn't fight for attention, you stayed hidden while I refined you. And now that I'm releasing you, no one will be able to trace your elevation back to human hands. They will have no choice but to say, "This is the Lord's doing." I have made you immune to manipulation because of what's coming. You're about to be offered opportunities that look golden, but are laced with compromise. They'll flatter you, but it's bait. They'll offer exposure, but it comes with strings. They'll speak the right words, but their heart is aligned with their own gain. But you will know. You will feel it in your spirit when something isn't pure. A discomfort you sense. That's me protecting the oil. Don't override it. Don't second guess it. Not every open door is from me. Some are disguised traps meant to steal what I gave freely. You were not made to be impressed, you were made to be anchored. You will walk into rooms where manipulation is the language, and yet you will remain unmoved. You will discern contracts that appear beneficial but are spiritual chains. And I will give you boldness to say no, even when saying yes would elevate your platform. Because you have chosen purity over promotion, I will bring you into places no man can block. Because you've allowed me to prune away every voice that tried to speak louder than mine, I will amplify what you say in ways that shock even you. You are not rising for their approval, you are rising for my glory. I'm not building your name, I'm revealing my nature through you. I'm not calling you to fit their mold, I'm shaping you to break it. You will not be managed by insecurity, flattery, control, or pressure. You are under the command of heaven. What I placed in you is holy, and I'm guarding it with fire. Walk boldly, my child. You are unmanipulatable. What I form in you will speak for itself. Let no one write your story, I already authored the ending. My beloved child, do not fear what was meant to destroy you. That storm you've been standing in, yes, the very one that felt like it would swallow everything you've been building, is under my authority. It didn't come to kill your promise. It came to unveil it. While others only saw the wind and the waves, I saw a platform rising beneath your feet. The very chaos that was stirred up around you has become the stage I will use to show the world that you did not fall, you stood, even when everything screamed that you wouldn't survive. I allowed the storm, but I also stood inside it with you. That night you cried and thought it was all over, I was closer than your breath. I didn't silence it immediately because what it stirred in you was more valuable than the comfort you thought you lost. It uncovered your resilience and awakened your dependence. It broke off the pride you didn't know had settled in your heart. It stripped away the noise that distracted you from my voice. It wasn't punishment, it was purification. I wasn't trying to end your mission. I was revealing that your faith has substance. You've been begging me to bring the storm to a stop. But what if I told you the storm is the vehicle of your unveiling? What if I told you that you're about to be revealed right in the middle of the mess while everything still looks chaotic on the outside? My child, I'm not waiting for the dust to settle. I'm not waiting for applause to begin. I'm not waiting for others to approve or understand your journey. I'm revealing you now while they still doubt, while they still mock, while they still think you're finished. Because that is when my glory shines the brightest, when it breaks through unexpected places and declares, "This one belongs to me." They watched you go into that storm and assumed you wouldn't return. They thought you would drown in silence, that your voice would be buried under the weight of what hit you. But they didn't know I had already marked you. They didn't know I trained you in secret for this very moment. They didn't know that while the storm howled, you were learning to hear me above it. They didn't know that while they walked away, I was whispering strategy and strength into your bones. They thought you were shrinking, but you were growing roots. They thought you were panicking, but you were praying. They thought you were done, but I was just getting started with you. This storm will not be the final chapter of your story, it will be the page turner. The event that looked like your undoing will become the reference point for many testimonies ahead. People will say, if they came through that, then there must be a God. You will not just survive, you will emerge with clarity, wisdom, and a mantle that cannot be faked. There is an authority being forged in you through these winds. It's not borrowed. It's not taught. It's earned in the furnace of adversity and confirmed by my Spirit alone. And when you open your mouth to speak, chains will fall not because of volume, but because of the oil. I know it's been painful. I know you've questioned whether I still see you. But I tell you this, the storm did not make me distant, it brought you closer. You prayed differently. You leaned in deeper. You learned to trust me when there was no backup plan. And now that I see your roots anchored in me, I am elevating you not in secret, but in the sight of those who never believed you would last this long. This unveiling isn't about proving people wrong. It's about proving my hand hath been on you all along. So stand still. Let the storm do its final sweep. Let the rain wash away what cannot remain. Let the thunder echo through the sky, because soon the clouds will part and the sun will break through. And when it does, they will see you standing not as a victim of circumstances, but as a vessel of my promise. You did not bow. You did not run. You endured. And now, the storm that came to end you is the same storm I'll use to reveal you. Amen.